From
Hello, guys. Welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to be joined with 1-0 Danny Boyle. He is a super middleweight, and he did fight Robbie Chapman on your debut, didn't you?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And that's a tough debut, mate. I've got to say, because he was picking up a few draws, wasn't he?
Yeah, his two previous were two draws, and he gives everyone a tough test. So I wanted to take on someone like Robbie because it's a good starting point. A lot of people take on people that have a losing record and that don't really come here and box, but Robbie always turns up for a fight. So to fight someone like him is an honor for me debut, really.
And he was a former Southern Area challenger as well. So
Yeah. And that's a fight. He was two times I think he fought for a Southern Area title, or at least an eliminator, and very close fights, both of them.
yeah, I think he came up short against Brad Pauls, who was doing very well.
Yeah. Yeah. Brad's definitely up there at the minute.
So how did you feel in there as it was your pro debut? You blimey, your crowd were loud. Just put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, do you know what? I was trying to stay focused a bit, even in the ring, walking that, but hearing the crowd was just crazy. I never expected such a reception. But Irish people always make noise, so it's always the same wherever you go. But to be honest, it's one of the calmest I've ever felt. Even from amateur fights, I was usually a lot more nervous. I think it's just the preparation and everything I put in. I believed in myself that much that I didn't let the nerves affect me too much.
And you performed well, mate. You did well.
Yeah, I knew he was trying to. He's a tricky Robbie. His movement and stuff's quite awkward to catch. So I wanted to make sure I didn't do anything silly and get caught because he's been in there with so many people. He sets traps that a lot of people won't see. Because watching a few of his fights, I noticed that he likes to drag people into a bit of a brawl, and then when they usually start trading with him.
So did you research about him before he fought?
Yeah, I watched a few of his fights and most recent ones, and even his Instagram and stuff like that. He would be on the inside. He's a brilliant fighter, and you can't sit there and trade with him. So I knew just even when he wanted me to come into the corner and stuff and start trading, I knew just to pick shots and keep moving.
Yeah, that's where he's most dangerous. Doing. When he went to the corner, he was trying to get into the body, but you just kept your shots long, got your shots off, then moved. Then when he got back in there, you did the same. That's good because you made him keep guessing, really.
Yeah. And the main thing I wanted to do was, even a few times I thought I was getting a bit carried away. So the main thing I was saying to myself was just relax and mainly enjoy it and don't do anything too silly.
Yeah.
Especially on your debut.
So can I so are you signed with Goodwin Promotions, mate?
Yeah.
Yes, so you'll be boxing in England, yeah?
Yeah.
But would you eventually fight in Ireland as you're from Ireland and I'm sure you have a bigger fan base over there, that's where I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely love to get a fight back in Ireland soon. At the minute all my trainings and everything's over here in London. I've lived here for the last 3 years. But most of my amateur experience and fights are over in Ireland. So I definitely want to get back there, even just training back there a little bit. But definitely for a fight, I would love to go back there.
So do you know when you're next back? When can I expect you to be back fighting in the ring again?
It should be March. I'm just waiting for a date confirmed, but March is the month we'll definitely be back in.
So that's good. So
yeah,
because Goodwin are putting loads of shows on, aren't they? And so that's a good promoter to be with, especially because they're one of the best small hall shows, probably the best small hall show in London area.
Yeah, definitely. And even just the fact that they have shows in York Hall to box and that and a stadium or an arena like that is crazy. It's such a historic place. So to box there in your debut is an honor as well.
Yeah. So that's a tick off your thing as well, fighting at York Hall. That's an iconic venue. So you've already done that. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Something off the bucket list already.
After your fight with Robbie, did you get to speak to him after the fight?
Yeah, we had a quick chat in the back, and then we were texting a bit on Instagram after it as well. And I was just saying to him how much I appreciated really having the chance to fight him, and he was just telling me the things he thought I'd done well, and what he respected about
improve on.
Yeah, it's little things like that. But he was the main thing I think he said is you know, the way I was moving and slipping his punches he was impressed with. So that was a good compliment to get off him.
Well, that's a bonus, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so when you get into this title picture, I'm not putting too much pressure on you as you're only new into the game, but but like when you get to that stage, would you fight for like a southern area, or would you have to fight for a title in Ireland?
No, it would be a southern area title over here, I believe. I did win a southern area title in the unlicensed just last March, I think it was, before I went into the pros. But
so definitely this year was always a goal to be a pro boxer.
Yeah, definitely. From around the last few years, I've always loved boxing. And the last year, I didn't have an amateur club to go to, so I done the unlicensed just to keep myself active. But the goal was always turning professional.
So when you started boxing originally at amateur level, did you always want to be on the pro scene?
It's one of them when you're always dreaming of it, and I always wanted it to happen. When you're doing amateur, it's one of them things. It seems like it's such a hard thing to achieve, but belief, and as long as you stay active, you can do anything you need to do. And to stay where I am now in the last year, the difference is crazy.
So what originally got you into boxing?
I've always loved just fighting in general. I first started watching UFC really, and that was what I first wanted to go into. But the boxing club was quite close to my house, so I ended up doing boxing just to stay fit really. And it took about 2 years of boxing training. Then I had my first fight, and after my first fight, I just fell in love with it, and I knew it's something I wanted to stay doing 100%.
So did you win your first amateur fight?
Yeah, I won my first amateur fight. It was in my home show as well, so the crowd was crazy as well for that one. But it was brilliant.
Yeah. So were you expecting a bigger turnout for your next fight when you get the fight news? Will you announce it on your socials and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I'm expecting after such a positive response from the first one. I think definitely that we'll sell a lot more tickets and 100% have a bigger crowd. And I think
how many tickets did you sell, mate?
I think it was around 80 tickets I sold.
Well, it sounded more than 80 people.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It made a lot of noise.
So are you now after that win, are you growing a fan base a bit more?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people, like I used to work in a bar, and a lot of them are interested in a lot more than want to come. And it's just slowly getting kind of growing. And I'm hoping that a lot of people from where I'm from next time make the trip over. There was quite a few that came over, but I think next time maybe it'll be a bit more, and then hopefully can keep bringing in the numbers.
But you appreciate the people who went to support you.
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot of people spend a lot of money to come over, and it seems crazy that people take so much time out of their life and spend so much money just to come and watch a fight. It's an honor for even one person to turn up, but to have around 80 is just, it's unspeakable really how it makes you feel. Yeah.
And that, for me, one of the best fights on the card, really.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm glad I keep you entertained.
Yeah, you did, mate. And because Robbie also came to fight as well a little bit.
Yeah.
So it made it a good fight. Yeah.
Yeah, %. That's what I wanted. You know, people come and paying a lot of money to see you fight. You want to make sure the fights are entertaining and make sure people are happy.
And I'm sure, and you do make them entertaining. And I was wondering, what makes you different to any other super middleweight out there? Why should people buy tickets off you?
I think my style and my movement is something that you don't really see a lot of. Especially super middle. Like there's a lot of slick boxers in there. Like one of my favorite to watch in the minute is someone like Caleb Plant. But the difference I think I have to some of the fighters that are a bit more slicker is I also have knockout power. So I think in that fight with Robbie, I knew he doesn't get knocked out. There's no point going for it with someone like him.
Yeah, that's why. Because if you start swinging these, mate, against him, he'll come back. He'll catch you only, and he'll just
100%.
You were staying patient, and you were winning those rounds fairly comfortable.
Yeah, it was one of them with him. I knew the only way I was going to stop someone like Robbie's with a shot if he catch him coming in. And when he boxed kind of defensively, he didn't leave much gaps for that. There's a few shots I landed in counter, but with him, I just knew I wasn't looking for it. But with people that see those vulnerabilities, and you'll definitely see some crazy knockouts. Even from the last, an amateur, I had quite a lot of knockouts. Even on
So
license,
I'm expecting big knockouts now, mate.
Definitely, don't worry. There'll be plenty coming.
But the main thing is that you just get your hand raised, and especially
exactly.
in your earlier fights, to gain a few of these rounds in, mate, and then you know. But if the knockout comes, I'm sure you'll fancy yourself an early night.
Yeah, yeah. You don't get paid overtime, so you always look for the early one. But in boxing, I think it's the one you don't expect that ends up being the knockout punch. So it's always about just maintaining yourself and not getting too carried away.
Yeah, you just wait. So is your next fight again a 4-rounder? So how many 4 rounds are you trying to do, mate, before you push on to 6?
I'm hoping maybe the next, depending on who the quality of opponent and the quality of the win, I would like to by the end of the next year be looking at 6-rounders and stepping it up, get a few more under my belt.
So do you want to be busy, very busy in this new year?
Yeah, 100%. I want to be. I'm 25 now, so I don't want to take too many. I don't want to, be here and there. And I think I need to give myself a good run in it now and go full steam ahead and get as many fights as I can.
So maybe 4, 5.
I'll be delighted with 4 or 5. Yeah,
that's good.
4 definitely.
So maybe like 2 more. So after this one in March, maybe maybe 3 more 4-rounders, and then you'll be 4 and then maybe push on for a 6. It depends how you're like doing, but I'm sure they'll get you in a 6-rounder by the end of the by this time next year, mate. You'll be knocking on the door for titles if everything goes to plan.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if I keep beating people that are experienced like Robbie is.
Mate, that's a big win, mate. That is a big win to have on your record.
Yeah, 100%.
When I saw that fight,
mate,
when I saw you were a debutant, I was like, oh, that's a good fight for him on his debut.
Yeah, that's everyone that contacted me every time they seen him, because I know an Irish guy boxed before, Kevin Nagaro, had a very tough fight against him as well. That went 7 rounds too. And even when Kevin hurt him, Robbie was still there. He was hurt, but he was still there. So fighting someone that's been on the likes of BT Sports and stuff like that, I never felt nervous at the time knowing the fight. I believed in myself, but to have that as a debut it's one of them. You can start off saying I didn't take just anyone. I took someone that's tough.
So is your dream to fight like on Matchroom, Frank Warren shows, Top Rank?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I'm at that level already, and I think that I can prove. The more chance I get to show my skills, the more I can improve and show people how good I really am.
Also, do you next year maybe you might get like a 50-50, like a sort of like a winning record, more of a like a ticket seller. You get what I mean? Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. The quicker that all kind of comes.
Because when you get 50-50s, the more chance you'll get this knockout, as they're hungry as well,
Yeah, exactly.
More chance they make a mistake, because when you're fighting, they just because with Robbie and like the other people, they're very defensive, they're very tough and their game, but the other fighters like come to fight, start, So I think when you keep moving up, these stoppages will pile in.
Yeah, it's because like you said, that with the likes of Robbie, they're more defensive, because with them lads, like they're fighting every week. Robbie's mad. He's probably had 2 fights since he fought me, which is mental. But he needs to keep fighting, so he needs to make sure he stays safe all the time. So fighting people like that is hard to get. It's hard to even box people that are more defensive, because it's finding shots where they're so well covered. But when you have people that's coming trying to take your head off as well, that's when they leave openings that you can definitely exploit. And that's what I'll look to do in the future.
Do you want to shout out anyone who's helped you in your amateur career and just your boxing career in general?
Yeah, definitely. I want to say a big shout out to Dunlow Boxing Club, Hugh McCall, Jim McCall, Pat McCall, and Brendan McCall, and Mark and Matthew McCall are 2 excellent boxers. And Kieran McCall. There's so many people that have helped me throughout my career at that amateur club that I owe everything to. And even now, turning professional, my coaches Mark Jean-Pierre, Terry Dunstan, Emmanuel, they do so much for me just to get me ready for each fight. And I appreciate everything. As well as my sponsors, a bar I used to work in, McCafferty's Bar, and Blues Kitchen, who does my nutrition and everything, which is what helped me make the weight. For someone that's nearly 6'2", making 170 was quite a tough task. But to have someone that helps me with my nutrition makes it easier.
So, could I see you fight at light heavyweight? Would you go up?
I think definitely in the future that could be 100%, because in my amateur career I was a light heavyweight. I started at middle, I moved up to light heavyweight, and when I moved to light heavy, that's when I started getting knockouts. My first 4 fights were on knockouts in the first 2 rounds. So hopefully, I'd say in the future, once I start filling out a bit, definitely light heavyweight will be there.
For the time being, you're super middle and you're happy there at the minute?
Yeah, definitely. I feel comfortable at this weight at the minute. It's not too much of a struggle. Even with the same day weigh-ins, it's made quite easy. If it's day before once it becomes day before weigh-ins, I think it'll even be easier for me at that weight.
Yes. And before I let you go, mate, my last question for you, Danny, is: do you have any advice for someone who wants to be a boxer?
I think the main thing is always stay disciplined. It's so easy to just get focused and distracted with just life in general. I think the main thing you always have to remember is discipline, because as long as you're always training and you're always focusing towards one goal, you can achieve anything you want. And that's really what it comes down to, is how much you want something, how disciplined you are to get it.
Yes. Thank you for your time, Danny. It's been an absolute pleasure interviewing you, mate. And keep working hard, mate.
I appreciate it, lad. I'll see you again soon.
Yeah, mate. Speak to you again soon.
Bye. Bye.